Hello fellow crafters, I'm Karen, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make these 3 greeting cards. Greeting cards are expensive, and you've probably found yourself wandering around the card section and not even finding one that you like. But the good news is that with some cardstock, a paper cutter, and maybe even some paper punches, you can make beautiful cards that are fairly simple and quick to make. So today's video is going to walk you through 3 of these cards inspired by Mother's Day, and for these you're going to need the materials and tools that are up on the screen. While I prefer to use cardstock for card making because of its weight and the plethora of colors that are available, you could also use any sort of colored paper that you have. And while you could use a pair of scissors for everything that you need to cut, it is also really helpful to have a paper cutter. You'll also want to make sure that you have your envelopes so that you can make sure in advance that your cards will fit inside them. And you'll need some glue. I'm going to be using hot glue today just to make sure that everything dries quickly, but a liquid glue like an Elmer's glue is generally easier for paper and ensures that your layers of paper don't get too thick with the glue in between. The first thing you're going to need to do for each card is make the actual body of the card that's going to fold, and you'll want to use your envelope to size it, so make sure that it fits inside. And when you're doing this, you also want to decide if it's going to be a portrait orientation with the fold on the side or a landscape orientation with the fold on the top. So I'm going to cut this piece down. I'm just going to be using a white background for this one, making sure that it fits here, and mine will be portrait. The front of this card is going to have a butterfly theme, and butterflies are fairly tricky to cut out, so I'm going to be using some paper punches. In this case, I have a 1.5 inch butterfly and then a 3-inch butterfly. So for these two, what I'm going to be doing is using the smaller butterflies in sort of layers on a diagonal, and then those will sort of create stripes in different colors. And then I'm just going to have one large one of the main butterflies in the center. So I'm going to be punching out a bunch of these butterflies from my colored cardstock that I have selected here. We'll glue them on, but before that we want to mark those where those stripes belong, just so we don't end up with anything that looks messy. So I'm going to do just a couple of the punches to make sure that I know the size of the butterflies and how the spacing needs to work. Then I'll use my pencil and ruler to mark out the lines, and then we can cut and glue. If you work with children, you're probably familiar with the fold a piece of paper in half, color on the front, and then call that your card. But we're going to do a little bit of a spin on that to make it look a little bit more classy. So the base of this card I'm going to be using is pink. And then on top of that, the front of it is going to look like a piece of paper being handed to mommy with the drawing on it. So what you'll want to do is cut out that piece of paper, which is going to have perspective. So it's actually going to be a trapezoid. Give that to the child to color on, and then you can assemble the rest of the card. This last one is based on the idea of a paper lantern. So my base is going to be this ivory color, but we're actually going to cut a hole in the front of it so that light can show through the lantern and make it look a little bit like it's lit. The lantern itself is going to be made out of tissue paper that's folded, and then some of this red paper, which will be the top and bottom of it. If you have ideas for cards you'd like to see, let me know in the comments, but for today, I hope you enjoyed these 3. Thanks for supporting Tickled Fancy Crafting by watching this video. This content is available on YouTube and Rumble, so click the like or Rumble button to let me know that you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to see new Tickled Fancy Crafting videos in your feed. If you'd like to be informed directly about the content, ring the notification bell on YouTube or adjust your notification settings on Rumble. Comment with crafts that you would like to see in the future, and remember, you can make this.